Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Sri Guru Samhita, the legend of the Supreme Guru, original in Marathi as Sri Guru Charitra by Sri Gangadhara Saraswati, composition in Sanskrit by His Holiness Sri 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 Vasudevananda Saraswati, also known as Tembe Maharaj. This translation into English is provided by Dr. Narasimhaswamy Banavara. Chapter 30. Service of her husband by the Pativrata, the husband's death, lamentation by the Pativrata, and the advice by the ascetic. Salutations to Lord Ganapati, salutations to Lord Dattatreya. 1. The great disciple Namadharaka held on firmly to the feet of Guru Siddha. He folded his hands and humbly and with devotion said the following to Guru Siddha. 2. He said, O great saint Guru Siddha, praises be to you. You are indeed the liberator of people from this ocean of life. You are the divine light that dispels the darkness of ignorance from people. 3. I was drowning in this vast ocean of ignorance. Now I have easily crossed it as a result of your mercy. 4. You have shown me the path of true knowledge. O Lord, you are the protector of this universe. You are indeed the Supreme Guru himself. 5. You have given me the nectar of the divine Sri Guru Charitra to drink. In spite of it, my still is not content. My thirst is increasing by the minute. I wish to hear more. 6. You have done so many favors for me. Can anyone in my entire family lineage ever repay you for your kindness? No, never. O benevolence personified, O Lord, you have made me experience your true form and essence. 7. You have described to me a story that is unique in the entire creation. You have described the great soul, the Supreme Guru, who made a lowly outcast man recite the four Vedas. 8. You have described to me the story of how the Supreme Guru granted his divine Vishwarupa, that is universal form, to the ascetic Trivikrama Bharati, and paved the path towards his enlightenment. O Lord, please continue the story from there and describe to me everything in detail. 9. Hearing his disciples' words, Guru Siddha was extremely pleased. He affectionately embraced Namadharaka, assured him, and proceeded with the rest of the story. 10. Guru Siddha said, O great disciple of mine, you are indeed blessed. You have attained fulfillment of all your desires and wishes. The mercy of the Supreme Guru is upon you in abundance. 11. You have indeed crossed the ocean of the transmigratory life and achieved all your desires. Your words are indeed blessed. Your mind has been rooted in the lotus feet of the Supreme Guru. 12. That is why you are asking me to continue with the rest of the story. I am very pleased. The legend of the Supreme Guru is famous all over the world. It is very mysterious. It is not easy to describe each and every part of the Guru's legend. 13. If I started to describe each and every miracle, then the story shall become extremely lengthy. Therefore, I shall describe this divine story to you in brief. Pay attention and listen. 14. While the Supreme Guru resided in the Gandharva, his fame spread far and wide. Every day there was a new incident, a new miracle. 15. The Supreme Guru, Sri Narasimha Saraswati, is the incarnation of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. But he appears as a mere mortal to the common eyes. His greatness has no limits. Even great scholars cannot fathom his divine greatness. 16. How can I, an ignorant person, describe the greatness of the manifestation of the Trinity? He has assumed a human form on this earth and made his legend extremely holy and consecrated. 17. Hearing about the amazing miracles that were occurring in Gandharva, people started coming from far and wide to obtain the darshan of the Supreme Guru. 18. Several devotees came to Gandharva and began to serve the Supreme Guru out of deep devotion and respect. They achieved fulfillment of all their desires and wishes with just the darshan of the Supreme Guru. 19. People who suffered from poverty suddenly found themselves to be rich. Barren women became pregnant with child. People who were suffering from leprosy suddenly found themselves with a divine and golden body. 20. Blind people obtained sight and deaf people obtained the ability to hear. People suffering from epilepsy became completely cured of the disease with the darshan of the Supreme Guru. 21. It seemed like miracles upon miracles. Just as iron and other base metals turned to gold with the mere touch of sparshamani, Similarly, people began to achieve fulfillment of all their desires with the merciful sight of the Supreme Guru falling upon them. 22. Listen, I shall tell you a surprising and miraculous incident that occurred there. In the city of Mahuripura, there was a rich Brahmin by the name of Gopinatha. Note, Mahuripura, also known as Mahurgad, is in Nanded district in the modern state of Maharashtra. It is also the seat of Lord Dattatreya, where the Lord sleeps. It is believed that Lord Dattatreya comes here every night to sleep. 23. This Brahmin had several children born to him, but they all died. The sorrow of his children's death had shattered him and was haunting him constantly. To seek relief from that sorrow, the Brahmin and his wife were constantly and fervently worshipping Lord Dattatreya. 24. Soon after, a son was born to them by the grace of Lord Dattatreya. The boy survived. The parents named the child Datta in the honor of the Lord. The couple raised the son with immense love and affection. 25. Datta was the only child of his parents. Therefore, the couple poured out all their loves and affection on the boy. When the boy was 5 years old, the parents made a sankalpa, that is solemn vow, to perform the Upanayan, that is a sacred third ceremony, for the clever boy. They performed the Upanayan with great pomp and splendor. 26. When the boy was 12 years old, he was married as well by the grace of God. The parents searched for a very beautiful and good-natured girl for their son. Her name was Sumati. 27. Datta's wife Sumati was extremely beautiful and a very appropriate wife to Datta, just as Rati is to Manmata. The happy parents looked after the son and daughter-in-law with great affection. Note, Manmata is Cupid, the god of love, and Rati is his wife. 28. Datta and his wife Sumati lived with great love blossoming between them. Both husband and wife were of the same age and happily roamed all over the town together. They soon became 16 years of age. 29. Both husband and wife were very good looking. They were both good natured as well. They were inseparable and lived with great affection and love. They could not tolerate being apart from each other even for a second. 30. Unfortunately, Datta fell seriously ill. Even though several physicians treated him with several medicines and treatments, he did not get better. 31. He could not eat properly as his mouth was dry and he could not taste anything. Therefore, he would not eat anything and he would be fasting always. Since she loved her husband very much, Sumati would observe a fast as well. 32. Sumati served her husband well and with great affection. She used to feed him and give him his medicines on time. Anytime Datta would eat something, Sumati would eat the leftovers from her husband's meal. She would also take the medicines he was taking. 33. Thus 3 years passed. The disease got firmly rooted in Datta and transformed into the deadly tuberculosis. Sumati was undergoing all the suffering along with her husband. She would remain close to him at all times. 34. Datta's body became thin and emaciated day by day. Similarly, Sumati also became thin and emaciated. She would wash her husband's feet and drink the water. She would always remain by her husband's side. 35. Soon Datta's body became badly infected and began to smell. No physician was able to cure his disease. Nobody came near him, but Sumati would have none of this. She stayed close to her husband and did not leave him even for a moment. 36. Sumati would eat only whatever her husband could eat, and only the amount that he could eat. She used to take all the medicines that he would take. 37. Her parents and relatives came to her and advised her in several ways, but she would hear none of the advice. She never stayed apart from her husband even for a moment. 38. She discarded all her jewelry and fine clothes and considered her husband to be her greatest ornament, even greater than her own life. She said, "My husband is my ornament. What happiness can I ever get with the other ornaments when my husband is suffering?" 39. The parents of Datta were very rich people, and so were the parents of Sumati. Seeing the condition of their children, they were stricken with grief. 40. They arranged good and dedicated Brahmins to perform all the mantras, chants, meditations, worship, and sacrifices to please the gods. They arranged for food for several Brahmins. They donated several amounts of money, food, and other items to the Brahmins and to the needy until everyone was contented. 41. They had several physicians come and give different kind of chemical concoctions as medicines to their sons. In spite of all this, there was no improvement in Datta's condition. The deep-rooted disease did not go away. 42. They consulted with several astrologers. Datta's parents conducted the puja of their family deity as well. But as luck would have it, the deceased did not budge. 43. The physician said, "We have tried our best. It is beyond any human effort now. Everything rests in the hands of Lord Shiva now. Only he can protect your son." 44 45. Hearing these words of the physicians, the parents became of both Datta and Sumati became devastated. They were immersed in sorrow. Datta's parents lamented, "O Supreme Lord Dattatreya, O Supreme Guru, O Lord of the world, we obtained a son after years and years of worshipping you. We were happy when he was born, but we are terrible sinners. Even if sinners obtain a divine treasure, can it remain with them for long? Such is our condition today." 46. This Datta is the only son who has survived in our family. If we don't protect him, then what is the use of living on this earth? O Supreme Lord Dattatreya, both of us shall end our lives in front of you. 47. Hearing his parents filled with sorrow and thus lamenting, the son Datta embraced both his parents tightly and consoled them. 48. Datta said to them, "It seems that my time on this earth has come to an end. I can take back my debt only in that amount that I have given to you. During the course of several lifetimes, I cannot take more. It seems that I have already taken my debt completely. This is the relationship of debt that no one can escape from." 49. Hearing the son's words, Datta's parents were shocked. They fell unconscious. Later, they fell on their son completely filled with sorrow. 50. They said to Datta, "My dear son, please do not disappoint us. We have thought that you would look after us in our old age." 51. It is right that you push us into the ocean of sorrow and abandon us. Is this dharma? Who will look after us when we are old and feeble? Is this right? 52. Hearing the words spoken by his parents, Datta was also filled with sorrow. He lamented, "O father, everything is controlled by fate. After all, what can a mere human being do?" 53. How can a son ever repay his mother's debt? Even if one drinks his mother's milk once, he has a huge debt upon him. 54. I have been born from your womb. From the time I was born, I have only given you several kinds of troubles and miseries. I have never given you any happiness. 55. Saying this, the son Datta poured out his vows in front of his parents. Then he addressed the love of his life, his wife Sumati. 56. Datta said to his wife, "My dear wife, listen to my words. My days are numbered here. You have experienced several kinds of hardships for my sake, but everything has been to no avail." 57. Perhaps I was your enemy in a previous life. That is why you have to undergo so many hardships for my sake. Know that all those hardships and distress are the result of some enmity from some previous lifetimes. 58. My dear wife, if you decide to stay in this house after I am gone, my parents will look after you like you are their own son. But if you decide that it is difficult for you to stay here, then you may go to your parents' house. 59. Your beauty is unique and unsurpassed. I think fate did not like that about you. I touched you with this disease-ridden body of mine. As a result, you have lost your good fortune. 60. Hearing her husband's words, Sumati fell unconscious on the ground. She was unable to tolerate her sorrow. After a while, she regained consciousness. She laid her head at her husband's feet and said to him, 61. She said, "Alas, O Lord, are you abandoning me now? Am I that worthless? O Lord, there is no greater donor than you. A woman has no one else but her husband that she can turn to." 62. This body of mine shall be wherever you are. There is no doubt in this. This is my duty. It is a great stroke of luck that I am your wife. 63. Hearing the couple lamenting, the parents could not contain their sorrow. They fell unconscious on the ground. They began to cry and lament uncontrollably. 64. Sumati helped her father-in-law get up and consoled him. Then she comforted her mother-in-law as well. She said, "You too should not agonize over this so much. My husband shall definitely live." 65. I bow my head to you and humbly request you. The Supreme Lord Shiva is our only refuge and protector now. Please send me and my husband to a holy pilgrimage site. My husband shall regain his life and health. 66. People say that a great saint by the name of Sri Narasimhaswamy Banavara lives in Gandharva Nagara. I wish to obtain his darshana. 67. If his merciful sight fall upon my husband, then he shall regain his health completely. Therefore, please send me and your son to Gandharvanagara. Saying this, she held on to the feet of her parents in law and begged them. 68. Datta's parents consented to her request. They affectionately wished Sumati well and allowed her and their son Datta to set off on their journey. 69. Sumati then wrapped up her deceased-stricken husband in clothes and put him in a palanquin. Then she happily turned to her parents-in-law. 70. She said, "Both of you should be strong-willed and remain at home in peace. This husband of mine is dearer to me than my own life. Our family deity shall protect us." 71. Saying this, she saluted the feet of her parents-in-law. They consoled and blessed her and then said to her, "My dear child, you are the queen of our home. You are very dear to us." 72. May you be blessed with good fortune and marital bliss. May the gods have mercy on you and grant our son his life. Thus they blessed her from the bottom of their hearts and gave her permission to leave. 73. The Pativrata, that is the virtuous lady Sumati, then left for Gandharvanagara with the palanquin containing her sleeping deceased-stricken husband. Slowly covering the long distance, she finally arrived at Gandharvanagara on the banks of the river Bhima. 74. Since they had travelled a very long distance, Datta threefold suffering had increased. With great difficulty, his wife Sumati brought him to the village. By that time, he was suffering immensely. Sumati set him near a tree. Note, the threefold suffering, also known as the three humors of human body, include Vata, that is windy humor, Pitta, that is bilous humor, and Kapha, that is phlegm humor. Vata causes flatulence, rheumatism, gout, and such other disease. Its chief quality is wind. Pitta is secreted between the stomach and the bowels, flows through the liver, and permeates the spleen, heart, eyes, and skin. Its chief quality is heat. Kapha produces phlegm, watery froth, and foaming in the mouth, pulmonary diseases, and associated fever. Its chief quality is phlegm. 75. Sumati went to several people out there and asked them where the Supreme Guru Sri Narasimha Saraswati was. The people said that the Supreme Guru had gone to the Sangama, that's of the rivers Bhima and Amaraja, for his ritual bath. Sumati got ready to go to the Sangama. 76. When she came near her husband to take him to the Sangama, she noticed that her husband was dying. As she looked on, his life force left his body and he died. Sumati could not contain her grief. 77. Sumati cried uncontrollably over her husband's body. She got ready to die along with her husband. She took a knife and tried to stab herself in the chest, but the people who had gathered there stopped her by force. 78. She lamented, "Alas, what misfortune has befallen me? What kind of destiny have you given me? O Lord, I came here putting all my faith in you. I really believe that you are my savior." 79. My state is similar to that of a person going to a temple for worship and the entire temple falling over him. I have never seen anything like this ever before. 80. When a person unable to tolerate the summer heat goes to the shade of a tree, the whole tree falls upon him. Such is my situation today. 81. When a thirsty person goes to a lake to drink water and quenches his thirst, a crocodile comes and eats the poor man. Such is my situation today. 82. When a cow, fearing for its life, runs away from the tiger and seeks refuge with a butcher, would that sinful person ever leave it alone? He kills the poor cow. Such is my situation today. 83. I am a sinner. I have been devastated by my fate. I am the cause of my husband's death. I brought my husband here to this strange and foreign region without listening to my parents and my parents-in-law, and everything has turned out to be a waste. 84. Seeing her lament in uncontrollable grief, the citizens of the village came to her and attempted to console her. They said, "O lady, why do you weep unnecessarily? You should not weep so much. You have to tolerate everything." Thus they tried in several ways to put some sense into her. 85. Several ladies said to her, "My child, why do you grieve and lament so? Please do not cry. You are an intelligent woman. Think about it. Who is competent to avoid the inevitable? Don't cry." 86. Thus several men and women advised Sumati in several ways, but Sumati's grief was uncontrollable. She began to remember several incidents right from her childhood all the way to the present. 87. She lamented, Alas, O mother, O father, O my brother, O my sister, what can I say about this? How can I continue to live now? I came to the seat of the Supreme Guru with the intense desire of keeping my husband alive. 88. With whom shall I seek refuge now? Who will protect us now? How can I live separately from my dear husband, who is the love of my life? 89. Right from my childhood I have worshipped Goddess Gauri, that is another name for Goddess Parvati, and Lord Shiva. Even at the time of my marriage, I worshipped Goddess Gauri and Lord Shiva with profound devotion. Note: a girl worships Lord Shiva and Goddess Gauri, particularly on the day of her wedding, and seeks marital bliss and a long life for her husband from the goddess. This has been a tradition for centuries. Lord Shiva and Goddess Gauri are regarded by Hindus as the perfect couple. 90. I worshipped Goddess Bhavani, that is another name for Goddess Parvati, with a deep respect and profound devotion with the intense desire of achieving marital bliss. To that effect, I also worshipped several Suvasinis, that is married ladies, and sought their blessings. Note: a Suvasini is a married lady. 91. All the ladies were very satisfied with my worship and they blessed me, saying, All your rituals have been performed perfectly. You shall be blessed with a perfect and happy marriage. Everything has now become a complete waste. The goddess has become angry at me. 92. Today, a thief has stolen my symbols of marriage, such as turmeric, vermilion, and the sacred black bead necklace, and marital bliss. I have offered all my marital indicators, such as my blouse, my hair, and my bangles, to my husband who is laying here. Note: the marital indicators, such as a hair, bangles, flowers, turmeric, and vermilion, and the sacred black bead necklace, will all be given up by the woman when her husband dies. 93. Where have all my merits disappeared? Alas, my puja of the Lord Gauri, meaning Lord Shiva, came to no avail. Everything I did has gone in vain. O mother, what can I say now? O sister, what can I do now? 94. How can I live all alone from now on? This husband of mine was not just a husband, he was my entire life. When he is gone now, why should I continue to live? 95. Thus the pious lady Sumati lamented in several ways. Seeing her dead husband's face, her sorrow increased multifold. 96. She hugged her dead husband's body and wailed. Remembering all the sweet and happy events the couple had shared together and remembering her husband's intense love and affection for her, Sumati lamented in a highly emotional voice. 97. She said, My dear husband, the love of my life, O Lord, why did you leave me here and go away? When did I ever disobey you? Why do you disregard me so? 98. Why is fate playing such cruel games with me? I am so unfortunate. Why was I ever born? Alas, O Lord Hari, another name for Lord Vishnu. What should I do? O dear husband, you came to me as an invaluable treasure. So, how come your life ended so abruptly? 99. I separated you from your parents at this untimely moment of your life, and now you are dead. Previously, King Dasharatha killed Sarvanakumara and became the cause of his parents' death. The same situation has occurred here as well. Note: King Dasharatha was the father of Lord Rama, the seventh incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Once, when King Dasharatha went hunting in the forest, he heard some sounds from afar. Thinking that it was an elephant that had come to the lake to drink water, he shot an arrow using the Shabdavedi technique, that is, where one locates the target by sound and not by sight. The arrow struck Shravanakumara, a Brahmin who had been traveling with his aged and blind parents and who had come to the lake to fetch a pot of water. The sounds that King Dasharatha heard were from the pot gurgling in the water of the lake. When King Dasharatha found the dying Brahmin at the lake, he was filled with remorse. Shravanakumara told King Dasharatha that he was dying and that King Dasharatha should take the pot of water to his parents as they were extremely thirsty and tired. King Dasharatha brought the water to the aged couple and narrated the events that had transpired. Unable to bear the tragic news of their son's death, the couple decided to immolate themselves in the funeral pyre of their son. Thus King Dasharatha became the cause of the death of three persons at the same time. 100. Now I have brought you all the way here, separating you from your parents at this critical time. It is as if I have killed you. Now, hearing the news of your death, your parents will give up their lives as well. 101. O Lord, I have become the cause for the death of 3 people. I am a terrible sinner. I am their worst enemy. The entire world will blame me as the killer of my husband. 102. People will look at me and say, this lady is a Chandali, an outcast woman. She is a grave sinner. People will then criticize me forever. O dear husband, O great scholar, it is as if I have killed you myself. 103. I am not your wife, but your enemy. It is as if I stabbed you in the chest with a sharp knife and killed you. 104. If your parents and other relatives have been here at the time of your death, they would have had a chance to see your body and cry and lament. I took away that privilege as well from them. 105. My father in law and mother in law are aged. They dote upon you so much. Their desires have still not been fulfilled. You are a follower of Dharma. So, how could you leave them in this condition and go away? 106. You are their only son. There is no one else to look after them and protect them. I am also a helpless woman, O dear husband. How could you bear to leave me alone? 107. Where shall I go now? Who will protect this unfortunate and helpless woman? You left without talking to me or advising me the ways of this world. 108. You are the love of my life. How can I ever forget your greatness? There is no one comparable to you on this earth. You have protected me until today. 109. Your left arm was my pillow always. I have never slept in another bed but yours. If I begin to remember all those, my chest is going to explode any moment now. Oh, my Lord, how can I live any more? 110. You are not just my husband, you are my entire life. How many good qualities of yours can I keep on remembering? Why did you get tired of me, your rightful wife, and leave me alone here? 111. With whom shall I seek refuge now? Who will protect me? The black mark of the child widow is upon me now. 112. O love of my life, you left without giving me even one piece of good advice. Alas, where shall I go after shaving off my head? Note, a woman was expected to shave off her head soon after her husband's death. 113. Engrossed in your love and affection, I had forgotten about my parents as well. Even though they invited me several times to come home, I never went. How can I go to my parents' house now in this condition? 114. In order to please you and in order not to bring any impediments to your happiness, I had never gone to my parents' house even for a single day. O dear one, understanding your mind and your feelings, I had abandoned my helplessness and was constantly following in your footsteps. 115. As long as you were my protector and my shield, I was respected and pure in the eyes of all the relatives and friends. Now I shall become an object of their criticism. 116. If I go to my parents-in-law now, they will die as soon as they see my face. Your loving and meritorious house will become like a deserted forest. 117. I brought you here to rid you of your disease and help you get better. How can I take your body back to your home in this condition? If I do that, everyone will criticize me, saying, look, the demon, the sinner, the ugly widow has come back to our home. 118. Lamenting thus in several ways, Sumati was weeping uncontrollably over her husband's body. Meanwhile, a divine ascetic arrived at the spot suddenly. 119. The ascetic had a bhasma, that is holy ash, made all over his body. He had matted locks and was wearing the divine Rudraksha rosary. He was a yogi. He held a trident in his hand. 120. He consoled the weeping Sumati and said to her, O lady, why do you lament like a foolish person? Nobody can change the dealings of fate that are written on person's forehead at the time of his birth. 121. Everyone must experience the consequences of their actions from their previous lifetimes. Those actions will always be behind them and never leave them. So, why do you weep in vain? There is no use in that. 122. Even if you weep and lament like this for 8 days continuously, will your husband's life force come back into his body? Whatever is ordained by fate shall certainly happen. 123. You are grieving like a foolish person. Who on this earth is immortal? Whom has death not touched? And whom will death not touch? Tell me in detail if you can. 124. You keep saying that this person is your husband. Then, where did he go? Where had he come from? Who is your husband? Who are you? Who are your parents? Tell me. 125. Many logs of wood come together in these whirling waters of a river. They remain together for some time and later they get separated. No log remains in the same place forever. 126. Many birds come together in a tree at night for shelter. As soon as dawn breaks, they fly away in separate directions. 127. O lady, how many people are born in this world? How many people die in this world? Is there any count? All the aspects such as son, wife, husband, etc. are all bondages of Maya, that is illusion. It is all transient. 128. When the wind blows over the waters of a river or lake, thousands of bubbles form at the same time. Similarly, they all burst soon enough. No bubble stays there forever. In the same way, these mortal bodies are born as a result of karma. Then they perish. It is a waste to grieve for them. 129. The soul is eternal. The soul is immortal. You say that this prone, lifeless body is your husband. This body is composed of the Panchabhuta. The body takes birth according to one's karma and the gunas, that is, natural qualities. 130. Happiness and sorrows come one after another according to one's previous karmic actions and the different gunas. The mortal body is an amalgam of all these gunas and karmic actions, but this is not real. It is not eternal. 131. The sattva, rajas, and tamas are the three natural qualities or modes. There is no relationship between these gunas and the soul. These three gunas are part of Maya, that is illusion. 132. All creatures in this world are dependent on karma. According to the sattva, rajas, and tamas gunas, mortal creatures experience happiness, sorrows, passion, and such other attributes. 133. Even though the gods have a lifespan of a crore of kalpas, they are also bound to karma. One day they shall also become one with death. When this is the case, what can be said about a human life? 134. This mortal human body is born with time and perishes with time. This body is completely dependent on time. Who can ever say that this body is immortal or eternal? This body has been made using the Panchabhutas, that is, 5 elements. 135. The body made of the 5 elements is dependent on karma, guna, and time. One should not go into extreme ecstasy when this body is born, and no one should delve into extreme sorrow when it dies. 136. As soon as the fetus gets formed in the mother's womb, one should realize that it is a mortal being and that it will perish one day. This body remains on earth until one's karmic actions from several lifetimes have borne appropriate fruits. 137. Death comes upon some people in their childhood itself and upon other people in their old age. People experience only so much as they have earned, no more, no less. 138. Happiness and sorrows come upon people in accordance with the merits and sins of their previous lifetimes. The relationships of wife, children, and other entities are also a product of the merits and sins of a person's previous lifetimes. 139. Therefore, merits and sins are the primary cause of all happiness and sorrows, profits and losses, life and death. One obtains only what fate has ordained for us. How can it ever be otherwise? 140. Sometimes, as a result of one's merits, one can overcome his sins or find a suitable remedy for them. But even gods, demons, or humans cannot overcome death. 141. This relationship of karma and time is not eternal. If it were eternal, then whose wife were you 100 lifetimes ago? Tell me, whose wife will you be in a future lifetime? Tell me. You weep unnecessarily. If you analyze it completely, you will realize that this lamenting and weeping are a sign of foolishness. 142. This body developed from the Panchabhuta is comprised of skin, blood, flesh, bones, marrow, phalanx, feces, and urine. If you think about this and analyze them thoroughly, it will look disgusting. 143. Who in their mind will accept selfishness and terms like I and mine from this kind of a terrible body? Why are you crying over such a body that is filled with feces and urine? 144. You have look for a way to liberate yourself from the bondage of this illusory world. Thus the great ascetic advised the weeping Sumati. 145. Hearing the ascetic words, the virtuous lady Sumati thought though devastated, assimilated, and realized the wisdom filled advice. She decided that her sorrow was only illusory and she abandoned her sorrow. 146. Later, Sumati folded her hands and saluted the ascetic. She held firmly onto the ascetic feet, bowed her head, and humbly spoke to him. She said, O Lord, please rescue me from the bondages of this difficult and illusory world. 147. Sumati continued, O Lord, I shall tread upon the path which you advise me. You are my father, you are my mother, O benevolence personified. Please rescue me, rescue me. 148. I have to escape from this troublesome and difficult ocean of life. Please advise me the path of dharma, that is righteousness. I shall follow your command to the word. Saying the Sumati held on to the ascetic's feet. 149. Hearing her words, the ascetic was pleased. He happily began to preach the path of dharma, that is duty for a woman, which was capable of liberating both families from the bondages of this world and the procedure of performing it. Note, every woman is responsible for two families, her father's family and her husband's family. 150. Gangadhara Saraswati tells a story of the holy Sri Guru Charitra. The Supreme Guru is a great soul. Even grave sins are destroyed by hearing and reading his legend. All desires and wishes shall be fulfilled as well. Thus ends chapter 30 in the Karma Kanda, in the dialogue between Guru Siddha and Namadaraka, in the text known as the Legend of Narasimhaswamy, authored by Gangadhara Saraswati in the Marathi language as Sri Guru Charitra, and referred to as Sri Guru Samhita, composed in the Sanskrit language by His Holiness Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati. Om Tatsat. Mantrahina, Kriyahina, Bhaktihina, Kshamapate. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.